Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anders and behind me you see my tiny house and my dog Bossymod. And in this video I'll talk about lessons that I've learned after having lived 4 years on only 14 square meters. So I live here on a 1600 square meter property that I bought in 2021 and moved my house to after having lived 1.5 years on a different property that I rented. The idea was that I wanted to live a more economic free and also sustainable life. So that's why I'm growing some of my own food in the forest garden behind me. And also my tiny house is off-grid, which means that I collect my own rainwater and solar energy and also collect wood in the forest for heating. Because when I collect my own resources like this, I not only learn how to save money, but also learn how to use less resources. But enough talk, let's go and have a look at the house. Okay, so this is my 14 square meter tiny home, and it has most of the functions that a normal house has, but it's also very different because it's off-grid. So for instance, out here in the kitchen, I don't have a normal tap with water. I have this water tank that I need to fill up every once in a while. And it can be very practical in winter because then I know that my water doesn't freeze, but at the same time it's a bit tedious because I need to fill it up typically 2 times a day. And then under the sink I just have different, like I have a water tank for refilling, and then I have my garbage bins and a bin for food scraps, and also a container for my dirty dishes so I can stow them away during the day. And then over here I have my combined oven and stove that runs on gas, so I don't need electricity for this one. And it's super tiny, but it's also very practical because it's so small, so it doesn't take too much space up in the kitchen. And on the other side I have my mini fridge, which is also a silent fridge, which is super practical because when you live in a very tiny home, you don't want a big fridge that is very noisy because it's very irritating when you sleep. So this fridge is totally silent and therefore perfect for tiny living. And then behind me I have my bathroom. So on the left side I have a shower that is also a rainwater shower. I explained it in some of my other videos. But basically it's a shower where I heat rainwater on the stove here, and then I fill it up into a bucket, and then I have this water pump that pumps it up from the bucket, and then I can have a nice warm bath. And also I use biodegradable soaps because I'm off-grid, so I don't want to pollute the environment. So this is just the soap that I use. And then in the other side of the room I have storage capacity. So here I have my dirty laundry, I have my nice shoes, and I have different self-sufficiency remedies that I use throughout the year when I produce and preserve my own food. Back in the day I actually also had a compost toilet out here. At that time I had a sliding door here, but it wasn't insulated. So whenever someone went to the toilet you could hear it from the outside. And to be honest, it wasn't too practical. So I just decided that I moved the toilet outside in a new building that I made for it. And it's just a relief, honestly, to when you have guests, that you don't have to think about the noise because it's so socially awkward to be having someone over and then using the toilet and everyone can hear it. So it's just much easier for everyone to have the toilet outside. Unless you build like an insulated door so you can't literally hear anything. But 14 square meters is a bit small when you have a toilet inside of the house. And then on top of my kitchen I have my bedroom, which is accessed via this ladder. So I just click this onto here, and thereby actually transforming my kitchen counter into a staircase that goes up to my bedroom. So this way I can easily access the bedroom, and then like this I'm up here. So, and in my bedroom I have a double bed, and also I have my wardrobe. So I actually have all of my clothes up here. One great thing that I love about my sleeping loft is the skylight, because when I go to sleep in the evening I can just look at the stars and also enjoy the view to the trees around the house. And in that way you really feel that you're part of nature because it's all around you. And actually last year when I awoke on my birthday, a small squirrel was situated on the middle of the glass and it was looking down on me. So it was kind of cute, also a bit creepy. And this is basically my living room, which is my sofa and the wood stove over here. And as in so many tiny houses, the sofa is also multifunctional. So if I open the sofa here, you can see the different compartments. In the first compartment I have all my electronical stuff, like solar batteries and solar charger and stuff like that. And over here I have my pillows and blankets and so on. And the grey box that I have here is a solar controller, so I can always check the state of my batteries, so I know when to charge my cell phone or my computer. Because I live off the grid, so I need to be mindful of how much energy that I use during the day and especially during the night time. That's why I always charge during the daytime when the sun is high. Generally, I'm pretty happy with how my solar and battery setup is functioning, because it's pretty easy to use, and these two 12-volt batteries are just charged from my solar panels, and then they deliver the power to the house. But even though I only have a small 40-watt fridge and I charge my cell phone and computer during noon every day, then still I don't have enough power, because the panels are somewhat shaded by the trees here in the forest. So I actually have two 300-watt panels to the south and one 300-watt panel more to the west, so I have like sun for a broader range during the day. But even though that is the case, I still am a bit vulnerable to the shady days where the sun is not shining, because then I don't have enough power to run my fridge. So I am a bit vulnerable. And it's paradoxical, because the solar panels deliver more energy than I can storage. So I think I just need to invest in more batteries, so I have a bigger capacity for the rainy days. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with how this setup is functioning in my off-grid home. So as you can see, my sofa is actually a little bit too high, and that's a very important lesson that I learned. That there is a reason why there are standard measures to furniture. Because this sofa, when I sit in it, I feel like a little hobbit, because my feet don't touch the ground as it is right now. So if I were to make it again, I would make it a bit lower, so I could sit more relaxed and comfortable in the sofa. And then also I placed this electricity box a bit too low, because when I sit here now, then I quite easily bump my head into it. So that's also a bit stupid. And these electricity outlets are also, it's a bit stupid that they are here, because then you can't sit like this, because you get them in the back. Apart from that, I think this is one of the best spots in the entire house, because I spend almost every morning here looking outside of the window and capitalizing on the view to the meadow, which is obviously super nice. And I'm actually also pretty happy with this wood stove, which is a Danish design that is called Orland stove, and it's 4 kilowatt, and it's perfect for this house, because you don't want to have too big a stove in a tiny house, because then you just turn it into a sauna. But this one is pretty okay for the size of my house. One thing that I'm really happy about with my tiny house is this piece of furniture, because it's so multifunctional and actually also quite space saving. And actually it is like 4 pieces of furniture combined into one, because as you can see, it's a stool or a chair, so I can sit here and enjoy the view to the forest, or maybe be a part of the conversation in the kitchen. And at the same time, it also has some storage capacity. So I have 6 of these boxes built into the furniture. So I utilize the space quite efficiently. And at the same time, it's also, as you have seen, part of the stairways up to the sleeping loft. And then of course it's also the kitchen counter. So it is like 4 pieces of furniture designed into one. And I think that's pretty practical when you live in a tiny house with a limited space. And the newest addition to my house is this cold room that I built last November. So it's not part of the 14 square meters, because it's not a heated area, but it's somewhat part of the house anyways, because I realized that I needed an extra room because of this guy. He is so dirty in the winter time especially, so before entering the house it's quite neat with a cold room where he can shake off all of his dirt and water before entering the house. Because one thing that you learn when you live in a tiny house is that it becomes very dirty very quickly, because you go in and out all the time, and it doesn't help when you have a dog like this. So it's very helpful to have a small buffer room before entering the heated space. And then also I use the space for storing different kinds of goods, that especially the food that I preserve during the autumn, so I can eat that during the winter. And then this summer I actually also transformed the room into kind of like a dining or living room, because I moved my dining table out here, so now I can sit here by the meadow and have a nice view, and also enjoy the light coming in from the roof and from the windows. Out here on the back side of the house I built this small and insulated shed where I can keep all my tools in an insulated space so that they don't rust. And also I have my backup generator for the house that is connected to the batteries. So if I have some very grey days, or maybe during the winter, I can turn this generator on and then charge the batteries. So this is a very practical room to have in addition to the tiny living space. And then on the other side of the shed I have this 1,000-liter water tank that is filled with clean rainwater that I collect from the roof and clean in that sand filter you can see in the white bucket. So that is all the water that I use in my tiny house. And on this side of the house I have my primary wood shed, and it will actually get me through the winter if I fill up all of these compartments with wood. So that is one of the main things on my to-do list for this autumn. Overall, I would say that I'm pretty happy with the general layout of my tiny house. Not at least because it feels actually more spacious than it really is. And I think that is due to the fact that I actually have windows on all sides of the house. So wherever you are in the house, you can always look out through a window. And that just makes so that you don't feel that the walls are caving in on you. And then also I have prioritized to have the most of the functions of the house in the one end. So I have the sleeping loft and the bathroom and the kitchen in one side of the house, and then I have only the living room here in the other side of the house. And that just means that I have this one place in the house where I actually feel that the ceiling is really high, and I can look up through the skylight and have a lot of light coming in from all sides. So this room feels really big. And that is actually an important detail, I would say. Even though the square meter is very small, then the room feels pretty big and pretty light and open. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I wouldn't change that if I were to build a new tiny house. Something that I would change, however, is a major thing that I just didn't think about when I built the house. But it would be to have like a technical room, or a room for technical appliances in the back end of the house. Like an insulated room where I could have like a water heater and maybe also the solar batteries and all the technical stuff. Because right now, if I want to heat the water for my kitchen, I do it on the stove. But back in the day I actually had a gas heater on the outside of the house. But it was very vulnerable to frost, because whenever the first frost hit, it would risk damaging the gas heater and the cables in it. So I just decided to not have that issue, and then warm my water inside of the house. But it's very romantic somewhat to be heating your own water. but also it's quite time consuming, and you end up spending just a whole lot of your day during the winter just heating water and keeping the fire going and stuff like that. So a technical room would be super nice because it will make it more comfortable to live here, and also you don't have the risk of anything freezing and getting destroyed in the frost during the winter. So the final thing that I want to share with you is something about insulation, because I have this wooden fiber insulation in all of my house, and it's only 100 millimeter thick. So and it's not very much, because I chose to go with less insulation so that my house wouldn't be too heavy for the trailer that I built my house on. And I think I regretted building my house on such a lightweight trailer. It can only take like 3 tons. Because now it means that in the winter time the temperature of my house is very variable, because it goes up and down, because I only have these 100 millimeter insulation. So if I were to build a house again, I would have like minimum 150 or maybe 200 millimeter in the loft, and then maybe 100 in the walls, or 150. So that is one of the important learnings that I have made with my tiny house, because it means that every winter I need to spend a lot of time keeping the fire going, because the house is not that well insulated. So so that is a very important lesson, I would say. So, but anyways, thank you for watching this video. I really hope you found some inspiration if you are to maybe build your own tiny house sometimes in the future. So see you again next time, and have a nice weekend.